Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be talking about writing a professor for the first time, which is also known as cold email. I understand this is a big deal for a lot of applicants. I'm Welcome to Scholarship Cafe. This platform is about scholarship opportunities and funding, tips and resources for prospective undergrad, grad, postdoctoral research fellow and faculty. So today I'll be talking about basic tips to get positive response from professor, and towards the end of this video I would also be addressing common mistakes you should avoid before you hit the send button. Congratulations, you after so many search on Google, other platforms, you eventually saw a professor or a research group that caught your attention and you want to send the first email. But before you send the first email to them, it's important to take note of this following points. The first point you should take note of in your cold email is the subject of the email. A master's student position, you can put master's interest. If you're applying for a PhD position, you can put doctorate interest or PhD interest. And if you are also a postdoctoral research fellow, a prospective applicant, you can put postdoctoral research fellow interest. So make it clear and make it simple. The next section in your cold email should be the salutation. You ensure that you address the professor appropriately. You do not want to write, "Oh dear Professor Honorable Peter Aridunu Abike." You should address the professor with the first and the last name. "Dear Professor," the professor in full plus the last name, or maybe the first name and the last name. That is okay and it's acceptable. Next is your introduction. You want to talk about yourself. You want to keep it brief. For instance, my name is Olumuyiwa Igbalajobi. I'm currently in the last lap of my bachelor program at the University of Ife. My current CGPA is 4.6 out of 5, and my project thesis, or maybe you started your bachelor thesis or you've completed your bachelor thesis, especially for people applying for master's position or direct PhD. So you want to talk briefly about your project. Okay, my bachelor thesis focused on antimicrobial properties of alfalfa plants, and the finding of this research highlighted the role of alfalfa plants, not only the antifungal properties but also antibacterial as well as antiviral properties. So you want to keep it simple, something about yourself that, okay, this is my introduction, and you want to sell yourself to the professor in that way. And the next section in the cold email is why you are interested in this particular research group or the professor or the lab. A lot of people make this mistake by not stating the cogent reason which attracted them to the particular research group or a professor or a group. Fine, you can connect the reasons, be like, okay, in order to become a professor of zoology or economics, I deem it fit to apply to your research group. But you should also state that, okay, your research interest aligns with mine, and specifically your recent publication on so and so caught my attention, and I will love or I'll like to ask basic research questions, and you're looking for opportunities to learn more about the research interest of the group. The next in your cold email, you should talk about your expertise so that it shows that you have hands-on experience. Yes, I know this is a big deal for a lot of applicants, and a lot of applicants get scared when you see, oh, the sophisticated gadgets in the future lab. Do not panic. A lot of professors are also open to people that want to learn. So you want to state your hands-on experience here. And I've read from a lot of applicants that told me, oh, they didn't have any research experience, but it's not true. You had your bachelor or master's thesis. That is enough as your research experience. So you want to state it clearly that, okay, my experience so far has been maybe in, Python, you have experience in mathematically modeling, you have experience in nucleic acid manipulation, you have experience in DNA isolation and or host of others. So you want to put it in your code email that this is your experience so far, and this aligns with the research group. Selective cases that your research experience do not tally with the future lab, just state something, but do not dwell on it. Make sure you state that you are open and interested in learning about the research interest of the lab, or you are open to be part of the team so that you can also upskill your skills. The last point is to end the code email on a positive note. Like, okay, also indicate that you have attached your CV or transcript or publication or proposal, if this is optional in most cases, because you do not want to be generic. So state in your code email that you've attached this document, and end on a positive note. For instance, I'm confident that my technical skills in protein to protein interaction, or in nucleic acid hybridization, or in nucleic acid manipulation, and my soft skills like leadership skill, you can state that communication and oral skill, and also volunteering ability will be a good fit for the research group. And just end sincerely, your name, sincerely Olumuyiwa Igbalajobi. That is how to send a code email. Keep it simple, keep it straight, and keep it precise. So next is a common mistakes to avoid while writing the professor for the first time. The first thing you should avoid is being generic. A lot of applicants make the mistake of sending about 50 emails in a day to about 50 professors. There's no way you can read their research interest thoroughly, and once they cite your email and see that generic, a lot of them do not reply. So you want to be specific, you want to be thorough before you send a code email to a professor, and you want to read their research focus and maybe one or two publications. So avoid being generic. The next common mistakes you should avoid is being too desperate. You have to be optimistic rather than being desperate. You do not want to write that, oh, if you select me in your group, or if you permit me to join your group, you're raising a community in my locale, or the fact that you've written several professors save my soul. This is being desperate. Be optimistic, be positive rather than being desperate. Another common mistake you should avoid before you send your code email is lengthy email. Lengthy emails, code emails, are often disjointed, disconnected, and boring. For instance, you are writing a professor and you just dumped about 1,000 to 1,200 words. A professor, it takes an average of 6 seconds for you to make an impression with your code email if the professor actually wants to read further. So you keep it simple. For me, I've always worked with 400 to 500 words, and it has always worked for me. So make it precise. Let your code email captures your introduction, why you're interested in the lab, your expertise. Also end in a positive. You do not have to list the abstract of your publication in your code email, or just begin to write stories that touch. Just keep it formal, keep it simple. The next common mistake you should avoid also is automated signature and quotes. Most PIs and professors find it lazy, and you want to avoid quotes which are philosophical or religious quotes. So it's better just put your name, Olumuyiwa Igbalajobi. You do not have to put your Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube or LinkedIn links, hyperlinks and all those things. They are really distracting. Then you do not want to make a mistake of just sending without reviewing what you've written. So you have to check for typo, and also make sure it is not disjointed, the flow is appropriate, and also you've attached every document you stated in your email. Now that you're ready to send your first code email, I await your testimony. Please drop your questions in the comment section, and if you like this video, please subscribe, share, and click the like button. See you in my next video. Bye.